Good morning, folks. I did a video on my Painless Risen channel, and I briefly talked about that fight that happened in outside of Augusta, Georgia, Hephzibah, Georgia. And I wanted to follow up on it and talk about black parenting. You know, I'm so glad my folks taught me. My folks they were against me jumping in the car with just any old everybody, even with some relatives as well. They were hesitant, and they didn't like me being in crowds neither. I had a curfew coming up. I had strict parents coming up. Now that now putting myself back then, they were pretty strict. I had a curfew, even up to the time I left home. And in hindsight, looking at that now, I myself used those same restrictive. I use those same restrictive habits, or I place those same restrictions on myself when I move now. Obviously, as an adult, I left home at the age of 18. Only went back home and stayed once for a couple months, but I haven't lived at home since I was 18. Of course, I go home often as I can. But I place those same restrictions that my parents placed on me now as an adult. And I found that it has kept me out of a lot of bullshit that I've seen friends whose parents didn't place certain restrictions on them, guidelines, rules of the house. They're dead or in jail. Now, those people were the ones that could hit the streets, come in about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it wasn't nothing. You know, and they had their popularity then, but a lot of them aren't really, like I said, they're in jail. Great many of them are in jail or have been in trouble at some time with the law. Where I still practice those things, again, like I said, that my parents placed on me now. And I say this because this young man that was killed, he was an innocent bystander. And from my understanding, he wasn't even involved in the fight, and he was stabbed in the neck and killed. And you need to be careful where you move and who you moving around your city, your state with. This is why I keep my circle small even now. And my dad was a big proponent of keeping your circle small. My dad didn't keep a lot of guys around the house, coming to the house. My mama didn't keep a lot of women in the house going out like a lot of these women are now. She had kids to raise, and that's just not how she moved. Now, you look at this 35-year-old mother who was arrested with her 18-year-old daughter. I think it's safe to say she moved pretty sloppy. I.e., meaning she probably kept a great deal of company. And when you expand your circle by default, you encompass their bullshit. So if you're out in the streets and your friend that you're moving with, and when I say moving, I mean that you're hanging around with, that you're running buddies with, you homies, you don't know what the hell he or she has done. And now you got a car full of people that pull up on you and get the dumping on you, shooting at you, and you don't even know what the fuck is going on. He know, she know, because she did something to them. This is why I'm very selective about the type of people I move with, and I'm very selective about the black men I deal with. Because I've had close white friends, Hispanic, I've had all type of close friends, but I found that brothers come with a lot of bullshit. The last fight I was in was with a Negro that had too much, he had too much to drink and got the running off at the mouth. And me being me, I'm going to roll with you. And this is when I was young. This was back in 2003, I want to say. Weapon was involved. This was right before I went to Iraq. So this was 2002. Maybe, I want to say August 2002. And that was the last fight I got into. A big fight. A weapon was pulled. But I was with a Negro who had too much to drink, and he was running his mouth to some guys, and next thing it was tear the club up. A weapon was involved. Somebody pulled a weapon, and shots. And this was see, let me tell you this. Dudes in the military get it cracking too. You know, because you got guys from all over the place. And you got guys from Philly, LA, Chicago, Detroit, down south in these clubs. They ain't left their thug-ass ways. They bring that shit into the military, and shit gets to cracking and hitting the fan. And it goes down on military bases. And it goes down around military bases. I know I've had a friend shot in Fort Hood, in Killeen. Killeen, cracks. And when I mean cracks, I mean it's happening in Killeen. Because you got a lot of guys that get out the Army and meet them sorry-ass females outside the gate and just live up there. Even Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Got a lot of Negroes there, a lot of dudes that just get out the military and hang around these little fucking towns outside the gate and don't do shit and start messing with the local dudes, that dusty niggas that don't do shit and end up getting in trouble. So it cracks outside of military bases. Don't get it wrong. This isn't necessarily isolated to a inner city. Okay, so back to my situation, a weapon was pulled. We got to fighting. Like I said, I'm going to roll with you. You know, I ain't going to leave you. I'm going to tell you about yourself after we licking our wounds or whatever have you. But I'm going to roll, and we roll. I'm going to thump with you. But, see, and even I was young then. I was in my early 20s then. What's it, 2002? It's 14 years ago. I was 23 goddamn years old. That's that age where you thinking you can't be faded. You in that, can't nobody see me phase that a lot of guys go through. But see, I knew how to check that stuff. Because when I go out, I'm not going out to cause trouble. I'm going out to have a good time. But I learned that I rode solo a lot. And move by myself. Or move with close dudes that didn't like a lot, that didn't need an entourage of dudes around them. Because you bring too much attention. I'm a very private person. I don't like a lot of people in my business, and I stay the fuck out of other people's business. That's me. You stay out of my shit. I'm staying out yours. You stay the fuck out of my shit. That's just me. You stay out of my goddamn business. So I don't roll like that. But I think it's safe to say that this mother, she rolled like that. And this boy was killed for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I look at black parenting. You should listen. See, a lot of black folks, I'm for physical discipline. Don't get me wrong. I'm for physical discipline when needed. It needs to be selective. I don't believe in knocking the shit out of kids because they ask a question, because children, they hunger and thirst for knowledge. But a lot of times in the so-called black community, the way we're raised is you have a lot of black folk. You have black folks that parents feel challenged when their children ask why. In fact, we love to give white people shit because white kids ask their you know. Them white folks let them kids talk to their mom. They let their kids talk to them all kind of way, asking them why this, why that. Shit, don't ask me why. You just do what the fuck I tell you to do. See, that's how black folks do. But when you look at the results, your parenting skills aren't working. They're not working. So we can sit up here and laugh at Lori, who lets little Billy ask all kind of fucking questions, while little Keon asks one question, you upside his head, and you got him against the wall with your hand around his fucking throat because he just asked a question. Well, guess what? Billy's going to be Keon's fucking boss. How about that? Keon is going to be mopping floors and buffing floors, and while Billy is logging off his computer, then close a multi-million-dollar deal, and as Billy is on the way out of his building, he looks over at Keon and says, "Hey, you forgot a fucking spot," as he walks out the door. That's the reality. So your parenting isn't working. So while you're laughing at white people because white kids ask questions, that's what they're supposed to do. You have a lot of black mothers that aren't shit. They've lost the art of nurturing. They think all you got to do is feed, clothe. I mean, look at the results. You'll know them by their fruits. Ain't that what that shit's saying? You black women that love Jesus and talk all this Jesus shit and church shit, you should know that. Ye shall know them by their fruits. And your fruits is rotten as the fuck. I mean, look, look how black women talk to their kids. Look at the hellions that are running around in any said inner city USA, shooting each other up. Shooting up churches, shooting up people in broad daylight. That's a result of you. That's a result of your Jesus-loving, Bible-toting ways. When you don't even know the goddamn Bible. Or you would be raising these kids better than what the fuck you're doing now. But see, it's all a gimmick to a lot of black women. A lot of black women love to say, as well as black folks, I belong to so-and-so church, but don't do shit for the church. And somebody asks them to do some shit in the church, they got their hand out, how much you gonna pay me? Instead of just fucking doing it out of the genuineness of their heart and for the love of the people in that damn church. But nah, they got to get paid. So a lot of black folks are just, they love to say they belong to, Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church or all this bullshit. But it's a facade because they don't know shit. They don't know about the love. And, I don't do church, but I know about the Bible. They don't know about the love and compassion that Christ had as explained in that book because they don't practice it. They don't know about meekness and humility because it's not practiced. Because black people are some of the most lack humility like no other. Arrogant, can't tell them shit, gotta have the last word. That's not the ways of Christ. But you love talking about Jesus this, and can't nobody do me like Jesus. I'm bathed and soaked in the blood of Jesus, all this stupid ass shit. And you're not even practicing it. You're not teaching your kids it because they wouldn't be maiming and decapitating each other every fucking night. So this is why when people come to me with that bullshit Jesus and Bible and Christian shit, from black people, That shit goes in one. I just smile in agreement. Really? Wow. Okay. Yeah. Because it's bull. A lot of black folks approach Christianity and religion, but how the fuck you think you can do all this shady? You can do all this shady, devilish shit Monday through fucking Saturday, and you can waddle your fucking ass in the church, sit the fuck down, raise your hand and sweat and hoop and holler and run up and down the fucking aisles like you ain't did all that stupid ass foul shit Monday through Saturday. You must take this God as a fool. And that's the only way I look at black people with religion. You think you can do all this shit and then sit your ass in church and think that shit is think you fucking square now with God? See, the way black folks practice religion is bullshit. The black church is bullshit. It's irrelevant. It serves no purpose. It's just an old gathering place for people. That's all it is. A place to go and come up, and fulfill your pipe dreams and all this shit and shoulda, woulda, coulda. Nah. I bet you this female went to church who was arrested with her 18-year-old daughter. So yeah, you keep thinking the white folks who let little Billy ask questions is fucking up. Billy is going to be writing fucking Keon's checks. That's the reality of it. But yeah, black parenting, it's... Like I said, you just look at the results and you'll see how ineffective black parenting is. Just like I saw a video. I think it was a man. I don't think he showed his face. I couldn't stand to watch the video anymore. But he put the camera in the girl's face, and apparently she was bullying a girl at school. And you should have heard how this nigga was talking to this girl. Called her ugly. I mean, what the fuck you doing, bullying? And see, this is how black folks think. The intent was, I know he was saying don't bully and to apologize. But he didn't have to use the words. And I was looking at the comments of all these niggas saying, yeah, that's how you tell them. I mean, the way he was talking to his girl, this little girl, was so fucking pathetic. Just like these niggas, they get on here and put the camera and start kicking their kids' asses like they're fucking doing something, like they're doing good parenting. A lot of y'all may not remember. You remember that boy they was in Louisiana, and that boy, his uncle, whooped his ass on camera. And it went super viral. Super viral. Yeah, put that on Facebook. Put that pop. He was tearing his ass up, but that boy eventually was killed. I think he was killed about a year and a half ago. And I think they talked to the uncle. The uncle felt bad and all this shit and whatever. But you see, all that shit, and I think the reason he was killed, because the boys that killed him saw the video of his uncle whooping his ass and was teasing him. The boy retaliated or said something back. One of the boys killed him. He's got to live with that shit. And see, that's the problem with black parenting. You think you can... See, this is my thing. If you got to kick a 15-year-old, if you still whooping a 15-year-old, you done fucking lost. Your parenting skills suck. There is absolutely no reason you should be whooping a 15-year-old. Because when that child was in their formative years, you didn't teach them shit. You didn't spend time with the kid. You didn't develop them. You didn't teach them their times tables. You didn't teach them how to count money. You didn't teach them how to pronounce words. Nah, you just fed them, changed their diapers, and that's it. I hate a fucking lazy ass mama that don't spend no fucking time with their kids, but when the kid get in trouble or when the kid's not making the appropriate grades, you want to fucking fly off the handle. And you want to get mad at the goddamn teacher because she's failing your kid. When you could have been teaching that kid, but you want to run out to the fucking club or you want to go drinking, you want to go hang with your girls, you got to get your hair did. That's why I say a lot of black mothers nowadays, and see, you notice I say nowadays, a lot of black mothers these days ain't shit. Because they don't know how to raise children. You know, I was thinking to myself, I said, man, maybe Margaret Sanger was onto something. But then I had to come back to reality and say, you know, she was just a racist ass witch. But I get the concept now. And I think about, you look at the migration of blacks from the South to many of the northern cities, Detroit, Cleveland, New York, Chicago, Philadelphia. When black folks moved to those places, they were backwards as hell. Even to the northerner blacks that were already established there, they were backwards. And in fact, today, you can hear a lot of northern blacks talk ill about black folk from the South. Oh, them niggas country. Them bam-ass niggas, they don't know shit. You'll still hear that kind of shit. Because I've had family, like I said, we come from Alabama, but I got family in Detroit and Philadelphia and Boston, and some of them had that uppity ass mentality, like they shit don't stink. But you put them in a field, or you try to have them haul some logs, or chopping wood, they look lost as fuck. So it goes both ways. We always said that white folks ran y'all niggas up north. But some of them looked at us like we were some country bumpkins. But see, the reality is a lot of black folks are moving back down south because it's cheaper down south. That's just the reality. A lot of black folks are moving to Atlanta, Charlotte, Memphis, Jacksonville, Houston. A lot of black folks is moving their ass because it's so fucking high in New York and Philadelphia and taxes is so goddamn cold. Now they want to move their black asses back down and try to discover their roots. So, you know, I'm just shit. I kind of forgot what I was talking about, man, because black parenting. You know, you can't just do that. You got to take time with your kids and establish them and be patient with them. But see, since a lot of mothers, especially black mothers, look at these kids as fucking checks, as residual income, they don't give a shit. This is why I talk about the con of the child support system and how judges are forced to side with whores. You knew this man didn't want no child, but because you saw your eyes was big as fucking dinner plates because you see an opportunity to get paid to get 18 years of fucking payments, you're going to have the child anyway. When you could have just aborted or preferably gave the child up for adoption. You don't give a shit about this. There's a lot of women that don't give a shit. They ain't got a nurturing goddamn bone in their body. But the system is set up to where they can get funding for their fuck-ups. They can get rewarded for bringing children in this world that they half-ass fucking raise. That's just the reality. That's just how it goes. And in turn, these kids end up being fucking monsters and terrorizing the neighborhoods and terrorizing each other and shit like that. Getting shot in the top of their head, getting dragged in paddy wagons and having their fucking spine severed. That's what happens with black folks in America. It didn't used to be like this. This is why I say a lot of you single black mothers now aren't shit. You had no nurturing bone in your fucking sorry ass body whatso goddamn ever. You don't. And again, I revert. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Them niggas that was fighting in Hephzibah, Georgia, are the result of failed black parenting. No conflict resolution skills, just straight savagery, just straight, And I was gonna say these Negroes are one generation removed from the Congo, but you know what? Even in primitive times, there was protocol. When you warred with a certain village, there was protocol. I mean, you may have a Negro deviate and want to run up in the village and do his own shit, but for the most part, he would probably get dealt with because he broke protocol. These shines out here doing all this stupid ass shit, there's no protocol. There aren't any established rules and guidelines. That's why I say black folks have regressed. We've regressed. We have a degenerative culture in America that ain't worth shit. And again, ye shall know them by their fruits. Look at the fucking results. Results driven. And when you give black folks shit, they fuck it up. You know how many places down south white folks have said, all right, here, you can have the keys to the city, you can have the schools, just like in Alabama. There's an article in Alabama about all the schools that were failing were black. And when you look off the rip, you say, see them white people. See them white people, they fuck it up. But if you look who in charge, it's black folk. You look at like cities like Birmingham, Selma, Alabama, where white folks have said, all right, you want civil rights, equal rights? Here, you can have the mayorship. You can be police chief, fire chief, city council. And then white people got to come in and clean your fucking shit up like they did in Selma. The state of Alabama had to come and take over Selma schools. Birmingham, Alabama, them white folks up in Montgomery, in the capital, had to come in and take over you niggas' schools because you didn't know what the fuck you was doing. So, this idea that the white man, when the white man give you shit, you fuck it up. Like Kwame Kilpatrick, mayor of a predominantly over 80% city black, fucked it up. So white people are giving you the keys to the fucking car and you keep crashing. So that's why I'm hard-pressed to listen to all this, well, if we had this, if we controlled our own shit. Well, Negro, when you're in control, you're still fucking up. So, I'm going to cut this here. It's really sad what happened to that boy. But, what's going on is you got a lot of parents around my age now that are having 18, obviously, in that era was the fuck the police era, you know, all this stupid ass shit. But see, a lot of these parents haven't transcended into adulthood. They're still living, you know, they're still trying to smoke weed, get tattoos, and hang out and be fucking cool. And this is why I talk about quality. This is why I talk about quantity and quality in so-called black community. Look, there are a lot of fucking men. You know, we like to say, a lot of people like to say there ain't no black men in the community. They all grown. Bullshit. You can go anywhere, any said city, any said inner city across this country and find a barrage of shiftless niggas running around, pushing carts, smoking and joking, picking their ass on the corner, on the stoop, looking at every goddamn car, trying to look in every goddamn car that passed by like you fucking crazy. You can find that anywhere. But then again, that's quantity. Now, however, let's talk about the quality factor. These quality of men ain't shit. Because all the older black men that were doing something that can change a transmission in a couple hours and drop a new motor, all these black men are in their 60s now, and they're dying off of prostate cancer and all type of stupid shit that could have been prevented. But they had skills. Now, since those black men are dying off, you got my age of black men that grew up under the fuck the police and niggas ain't shit and bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks era, that can't do shit, can't even change a fucking light bulb, use every goddamn excuse. Those men are in the neighborhoods now. Then you have the men, now they're one tier below them are all these shines, all these crack babies that are in their late 20s running around, not doing shit. And then below that tier, you got the gunners that are shooting up, that will run up in your mama's house, shooting at you, and then laugh about it. So the quality in the so-called black community of men, like I said, there's a shitload of niggas running around. Oh, you'll find a gang of black men. But the quality sucks. That's just it. And the same with these mothers that have lost the art of nurturing. If you're 35 and below, most women I see who can't raise fucking kids are usually 35 and below. They graduated in the late 90s and early 2000s. These are the women that have a gang of tattoos, piercings, and shit, and can't raise a child, can't fucking boil a pot of water, that let their kids run around and terrorize the fucking community. That's what you have. So it's different generations where you can see the regression. You can see the constant regression. I talked about the older black men who are in their 60s and up, who are dying off, that could actually do something, had a little sense, because they came up in an era where do for self. Now you got all these entitlement, woe is me niggas that love to talk shit, and when Officer Whitey McNulty comes in and puts a boot in your ass, that's racism because I'm black. Nah, you've had this generation. There's no fucking reason why you can't go to school nowadays. You got your daddy Obama, who's made it goddamn near impossible for someone not to go to school. So, all this, there's no opportunities for us. Bullshit. First off, you got to be able to get the fuck off 67th Street. The world is bigger than 67th Street. The world is bigger than Figueroa. The world is bigger than Crenshaw. So if you can't find no jobs, if you can't find no fucking jobs on Avalon Boulevard, then you need to get the fuck off Avalon Boulevard and go find a job somewhere else. That's just the way of the world. I'm so tired of Negroes saying, like Chicago, there ain't no jobs around here. Well, get the fuck out. There ain't no jobs where I'm from. People have to drive miles for a decent bullshit job. The only industry where I'm at is if you want to haul lumber, haul logs up and down the damn interstate or highway. I ain't want to do that shit. So I joined the military and got the fuck out. I ain't joining no white man's military. You know what? I had some people tell me that when I first went home, because I was young. I came back from AIT. This was in the late 90s. Little Painley. Excuse me, Little Painley, you didn't join the service, huh? Shit, you gonna get your ass shot off for that, white man. I ain't standing in front of the package store talking shit. You go and fight the white man's army. You want shit. I ain't doing it. Now, these are same niggas that complain there ain't no fucking opportunities, but want to call me an instrument in American imperialism or on some bullshit like that. Well, guess what, nigga? I got free dental. I got free health care. I'm learning job skills. I got 3 hots in a cot. And guess what, nigga? They are going to pay for my fucking college. So you can stand here in front of Bones Liquor Store, shooting dice and drinking Boone's Farm and Mad Dog 2020 till your fucking liver shrivels the fuck up, while I go travel the world, courtesy of Uncle Sam, and experience life outside of this fucking shithole. So don't be shamed because you're not scared to leave 103rd Street. Or you're not shamed in leaving the East Side. The world is bigger than the East Side, nigga. So that's what I did. So you niggas is sitting around on the couch playing 2K16 and can't fill out a fucking application. You better go down to the recruiter and put your hand up and get sworn in. I ain't joining the military, fuck that. Okay. Just sit around here and fucking pick your ass, and when next time you look up, you're 40 years old, and you don't have a fucking bank account or shit to show for it, oh well. You're bad. Remember? Remember you say you ain't joining the white man's military? All right. So, spare me all the violin, spare me those fucking tears, nigga. Spare me those tears. I don't have time for that, but I'm so fucking tired of hearing excuses. I think my head's gonna fucking pop. But that's enough talking. Peace.